welcome everyone to the July 12th, 2017 meeting of the Rotterdam Town Board. This evening we entered an executive session at approximately 5:39 p.m. with a motion by member Miller Herrera and a second by member Christou, all voting in favor for an employee matters 06142017 grievance hearing. We then exited executive session approximately 6:16 p.m. With member Christou and member Bolano seconding and all voting in favor to exit. We also made a couple of adjustments, if you will, to a couple resolutions. And just to give you some summary, resolution 21317, we added some language at the end of that resolution. So after the $44,100 number, it goes on to say, and to authorize the supervisor to enter into a license agreement with Vista Square and Metroplex. And I'll discuss that a little further when we vote on that resolution. And then also resolution 2-2017, member Bolano and Marmor recognized that there was an error in section 1. And all the information documentation is there just for everyone's attention. What happened is it was a copy paste error. In the summary of all of the budget transfers is here. So if you're looking for the budget transfers, I'd be happy to provide you with the Schedule A. So there are really 2 pages of the budget transfers. What happened was this page was not entirely entered into the section 1. So we had a motion by member Christou and a second by member Miller Herrera to basically determine to change the schedule underneath section 1 to Schedule A, and so you see all the budget transfers here. So thanks for recognizing that. And you know, as much as we look at all these resolutions from time to time, we do have errors. Like even in 215, it says authorized. Well, I haven't been authorized yet. The word should just say authorized. You know, but we do our best, and you know, multiple people do look at them. But most of the time, they are not errors of consequence. However, there are errors, and they do need to be adjusted for us to have an accurate record for the meeting. So, Ms. Marco, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Christou?
Present.
Mr. Lamore?
Present.
Mrs. Miller Herrera? Present. Mr. Bolano?
Here.
Mr. Thomason?
Present.
5 present.
Would you all please stand for the pledge? And Mr. Romano, would you mind leading us in the pledge? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So thank you all for your patience. Under supervisor's report, I'd just like to publicly state that we are going to be moving our August, we mentioned this at the last town board meeting as well, our August meeting will be moving from Wednesday, August 23rd at 5:30 p.m. and 7 p.m. to Wednesday, August 9th, beginning at 5:30 p.m. with the agenda session, 7 p.m. with the town board meeting respectively. So again, our meeting is scheduled for August 9th. And a couple things I'd like to bring up. We have a couple of events that are upcoming in the town that I'm aware of at this time. There are probably others, so if I'm omitting something, please forgive me. But on Tuesday, August 1st, from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Rotterdam Youth Soccer Fields, which are located behind Jefferson School, Elementary School, for Princetown Road. National Night Out, it'll be their, I believe, second year National Night Out at Rotterdam, New York. It's an annual community building campaign that promotes police, community partnerships, and neighborhood camaraderie to make our neighborhoods safer, better places to live. There will be entertainment, food, kids' activities, health, safety, and security exhibits, and demonstrations, and much more. And this event is sponsored by Rotterdam, New York Neighborhood Watch Incorporated. So again, Tuesday, August 1st, from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. At the Rotterdam Youth Soccer Fields at 100 Princetown Road. Yeah, it was very well attended and fun to watch, the kids especially. On Saturday, August 5th, 2017, from 2 until 6 p.m., Crossroads Center for Children invites the community to attend a community barbecue to benefit Crossroads Center for Children at the Wagon Train Barbecue, located at 671 Ravel Road, Schenectady, or Rotterdam, excuse me. They'll have a DJ bounce house. The Rotterdam Police are going to be performing a Rotterdam Police Child ID program. There'll be raffle items and other events going on there. It is a free event. The barbecue feast is available at $12 per adult, and children under 10 eat free with paying adults. So it's a nice event. If you'd like to sign up in advance or pay for the event, or pay at the event, you can pay at the event, excuse me. To sign up in advance, you can contact, well, we'll put it on the, instead of reading the emails, we'll put it on the town website. But Crossroads, again, Center for Children, 671 Ravel Road at the Wagon Train Barbecue on Saturday, August 5th, from 2 to 6 p.m. That's what I have right now, unless something else again pops up. So let's go into public comment privilege of the floor, please, Ms. Marco.
Joseph Gittarelli.
Good evening, Joseph Gittarelli, 2703 Myrtle Avenue. Mr. Supervisor, you already commented there's going to be an amendment to 213.
Yeah.
17, but I wanted to inquire about that. So there's $44,000 being designated. Is that just towards the engineering side of this project?
It's engineering, and really, there's a clerk of the works for that project. What's happening there, and so to give you a high level, if you will, the project, the improvements that need to be made to that sewer pump station include expanding the well and the pumps and putting new pumps in and other infrastructure there. And this is the pump house is located by the rail line on Curry Road by the old Palmer Lumber Company, just so people know what we're talking about. And so the project is about $300,000. What's happening is the developer is putting up $100,000 for that project. Metroplex is also putting up $100,000 towards that project, and the town itself is committing $100,000. It would cost us $300,000 if we did it on our own. It has to be done already. Actually, the lines are already, they're not at capacity, but they're close. So the improvements have to be made. Whether this project was going in or not, eventually we're going to have to make these improvements. Secondly, I'll just tell you that the amount of money that we're receiving in sewer connection fees, and again, and forgive me, I think the numbers are right, but $78,000 is what we've received for sewer connection fees. So really, our out-of-pocket, when it comes right down to it, is about $22,000. But we have to engage Jack McDonald because it's our sewer plant, our sewer pump station, and so we want to make sure that they're doing what we want them to do, and that the work is being accomplished. So we're paying that part of it. So that's part of our commitment to the $100,000 that we're committing to that project.
Okay.
The $44,000. Okay.
So that money comes out of the sewer district.
Correct. So what's happening is the sewer connection fees are being paid into the sewer district, to sewer 2. That money is just really coming back again. Yeah.
Do we have any projected tax revenues on that project yet, or no?
I can tell you that Evan and I met with a few different developers over the past couple of years here, a year and a half that we've been in office together, and the average assessment by apartment goes by obviously the number of bedrooms and so on. So I don't want to put a number on it because I'm not an assessor. Okay, let me just say that.
Right.
But whatever number you want to use, whether you're using a $50,000 per apartment number, $75,000, whatever that number happens to be, it's over 200 units. So we're talking about an excess of $10 million worth of assessed valuation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming.
Jeff Burkhardt.
Good evening. This
Good
is my
evening,
neighbor.
Madam. Yes, so we're both here on the same agenda, and I hope that we are okay, because I had called to find out this is an open forum.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want here.
I just wanted to make sure, because we're novice at this, and I don't really do
What is
it.
your name?
Sorry.
Barbara Bernarski.
Oh, so you're the next
So,
one.
yeah, so
Okay.
we're neighbors.
No problem.
And our issue is, we have some pictures of that.
Give them right to the town clerk and then she'll pass them down
Okay.
to us.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
So, we live down Sartoli Avenue, which is right off of Kings Road, off of High Bridge and then Kings Road. And at one point, you rerouted the water. We get tremendous.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay, no worries.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
You rerouted the water from Kings Road and down to Sartoli Avenue. and our flooding is just tremendous. It is out of control. We took pictures and stuff in the winter, in the summer, nighttime, daytime, and was wondering if there's something that maybe you can do about it. I've been trying, we don't have water, public water down our road. It's on Kings Road, but it doesn't come down our road. And we've been trying to see about having that done. And now, especially with rerouting all the water down our street, you know, it's gasoline, it's, you know, pollutants that are coming. We have well water, right? And we have children and stuff. And so, especially with the water, we're concerned with them riding their bikes, whatever, because children can really literally drown in like an inch of water. So it's become a real problem.
The water does get up 6 inches plus.
Yeah.
The wells, it's getting almost right to the top of where
our wells are.
Where your well, and if the water goes into the well, it's
going to contaminate. And so right now, we try not to drink the water and, and that kind of stuff. But, and you can see on the pictures and stuff, it's like, all the way up to in my driveway. And my neighbor next to me, and she's in, what number is she? She couldn't come tonight.
4.
No, she's 2.
Yep, really, just, I mean, there's a handful of houses in that.
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah, I know.
really significantly affecting us.
That's significant.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And that's like, that's not even a heavy rain. Like, it happens all the time. And I gave you a picture of the storm drains. We have a couple storm drains there. They're always full. They're never not full.
So, my expertise is, I can see that that's flooded.
Okay.
Our highway superintendent's in the back of the room. I don't want to have him come up here and speak right now because he might have to speak on the roads maybe, or if the town board has questions of him. But if you don't mind,
Sure.
taking Larry, and Larry, if you don't mind going down the hall or into the side room and speaking with these folks, I think Larry can give you some insight into that area.
Okay.
And more importantly, I know that we've had conversations about that area already earlier this year, and I've had conversations with the county about it. And not to say anything more than this, that we just recently got our jetback equipment. It's a huge piece of equipment, it costs a few $100,000, so it's not, obviously not just a pump.
Right.
So, and they've been out working it. I mean, our guys just got trained on it the past, week and a half?
Just got trained on it yesterday.
Yesterday? Okay, so yesterday.
Well, we were told that the storm drains were actually blocked because.
And that's what this equipment's for.
That they don't go
Purposely.
anywhere. Yeah.
Well, listen, I'll tell you this, if they're purposely blocked, they're gonna get unblocked.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
I just know that, I know about this problem already, so
Okay.
that you know, okay, so I'm aware of it, but I did not obviously travel down there to see.
To see how bad. That's why we wanted to bring
Here,
pictures and
I appreciate
show.
that very much.
Do you have electronic copies of those pictures?
Yes.
All right, if you go to the town website and you click on our names,
Okay.
you can forward them to us.
Yeah.
I have tons more.
I would forward them to the Department of Public Works and to the Highway Department as well. But I would, again, taking the supervisor's suggestion, highway superintendent's in the back of the room, go have a conversation out in the hallway so you can give them firsthand concerns.
Okay.
And then we'll follow up with a discussion, we'll get this problem solved.
Okay, great.
Can we have those photos back to show Larry? Diane, do you mind?
Yeah,
giving them
you
back?
can
already
keep
down
those.
there.
No, take these, do
Okay.
you have a set for him?
No,
No,
okay,
take
we'll show
those.
them.
Take
Do you
those.
have any advice on how to maybe somehow obtain public water down our road at any point?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And that would be an action by the town board of extending the water district
Okay,
to you.
yeah.
Or not a district user agreement, but we will look at that as well.
Okay.
You have my commitment there. I honestly did not know that, that's another thing that.
Yeah,
we
we're
know
like the forgotten road.
Well, no, we know, right? And-
Yeah.
And my assumption was that you were probably on city water, frankly,
No.
because that's really the city side of the.
Yeah, we have
Of
no
the
water.
bridge,
Yeah.
So I would have assumed that because there's a lot of properties in our community that are, in the Schenectady border that are on city water.
Right.
Still, they're not on the town water. So I apologize for not knowing that to you, and you have my commitment that we'll get water to you. We'll work on that.
Yes, sir.
And we'll figure it out. We'll have to find a way to get you water.
Excellent.
Okay, we'll work on that.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I mean, no disrespect to Larry.
Yeah.
But I've spoken with somebody down there.
Yeah.
And we've just kind of getting, things are happening. There's things in the works, there's things in the plans, and Nothing, so that's why
Let me-
I wanted to come
Let me-
here.
Listen, I appreciate you coming here, I hear you loud and clear. So let me say this in a different way.
Okay.
You know, we don't know each other, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but at the same time, you understand that I'm very sincere in what I'm saying to you. We had this piece of equipment on order for months, and we just finally got it. If we had had this piece of equipment, this vehicle 3 or 4 months ago, we probably would already been doing this and working on the storm drains. I think we just got it.
Right.
So we have a couple of areas that we're working on. Let me just finish this.
Okay.
Secondly, that, you know, if you're speaking to people in different departments.
Yeah.
And, you know, coming here, you know, we make some of the decisions too.
Right.
So, you know, coming here is gonna work for you, it's beneficial.
Okay, great.
And more importantly, from my perspective, if you're living in part of the community that everybody else around you has potable water, you don't. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, that's
That's
something
why I
that is
never brought this in.
completely, it makes no sense to me at all. It is not acceptable to me. So we will work on that.
Thank you.
So, okay?
What do we do if, once they come and they pump out the storm drains and this issue continues to happen? Because what they did was they built this, we live by the tracks, you know, the railroad tracks are there. So they went across, like, still on our side of the railroad tracks and built this huge, big hole, so
Like
to
a
speak.
holding pond.
Yeah.
Retention
and-
pond.
Yeah, thank you,
Retention
retention pond. And it
Never
never
goes
actually
anywhere.
got there because they said that, and then I talked to some of the gentlemen that was out there and they, with the storm drains, they said the storm drains just stop right at the end of his house, at the end of the road. They actually literally don't even go
Okay,
out there.
so without knowing any more than this, I'll just say this to you as well. is that
Okay.
we can do everything that we can with easements, and it's within the town right away.
Okay,
So if we have a situation where we have to work with the railroad or
Okay.
some other entity,
okay,
property owner or another utility,
Okay.
that's where oftentimes
comes difficulty.
that's where our difficulty is.
Okay.
But please speak
We'll
with
start
Larry.
here first.
That's right, let's start there, and I'll have DPW contact you folks there to let you know what the process is for getting a connection to, you know,
Water.
whether it's Schenectady's or our water system. We'll figure that part out.
Excellent.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank
All
you
right,
so much,
you're
gentlemen.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for being here.
That's it.
That's all, okay. Anyone else want to be heard under public comment privilege of the floor tonight? Anyone? Okay. So we'll close public comment privilege of the floor at this time and go into our resolutions. Ms. Marco, resolution 20317, please.
Appoint Lou Pascarella of Rotterdam, New York, 12306, to various seasonal summer positions at the Town of Rotterdam Parks Department, retroactive to June 26, 2017.
I'll move.
May I have a motion? Motion by member Christou, is there a second, please?
I'll second it.
Okay, second by member Larmore. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Valano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomaso?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 20317 passes. Resolution 20417.
Appoint Lori Epting of Rotterdam, New York, to the position of payroll audit clerk for the Town of Rotterdam's Controller's Office, full-time, provisional, with employee benefits at an annual salary of $42,844.56, commencing July 17, 2017.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion by member Christou, second, please.
I'll second.
Second by member Miller Herrera. Anyone on the question?
Yes, Mr. Simon.
Go ahead, Mr. Valano.
All right, based on certain discrepancies and differences at different parts of the backup regarding the description of duties of the selected employee, I plan on abstaining from voting on this particular resolution.
Okay, Mr. Harmon?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor. Yes, what I noticed is, as far as application versus resume, the application, which would be expected, is showing much more payroll experience than looking at and trying to match up with the resume. The resume doesn't show that much experience in payroll, and that's kind of the position. And when it does, it shows it that it's been further back, and it hasn't been most recent. The other problem I have is that, excuse me, for when these positions come up, we really need to, as far as council members, so we can make really intelligent decisions, we need to also have the resumes not of just the person that they have chosen, but the resumes of the other people, so that we can see so we can kind of judge how this person, evens out to all the other candidates, so we can see what's actually out there. And so I'm probably going to do the same thing. I'm going to be abstaining.
Anyone else with a question?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor. As deputy supervisor, one of my responsibilities is to act as a human resources, I guess you could say, liaison or officer for the town. The two people in that department, the town controller and the current,
Senior payroll auditor.
senior payroll auditor, went through the 30 or 40 or so resumes that were submitted. From that, they picked what they felt were the four most qualified for what they were looking to fill this, I guess you call it entry-level position.
Yes.
Of those 4 interviews, I sat in on all 4 of them. And both Audrey Knobloch and Jackie Avery asked some very clear and defined questions pertaining to the job at hand. During that process, Ms. Epting was able to talk shop and be part of the conversation as someone who, in my opinion, was very knowledgeable about what was being proposed for the job duties. She kept up with the conversation. She answered all the questions to the satisfaction of the 2 people running the department. And based on that, I think that this is a good appointee for this position. I think she's going to work out very well for the town.
And during the agenda session, when I brought up the fact that the resume and the application didn't match, there was an indication on the recorded record that nobody was aware of that, and that I actually brought it to the attention.
I acknowledge that I did not catch what you claim to have catched in the discrepancies. I'm going by the physical interview of the person sitting in front of me during the interview.
Okay, but based on the fact that me and Councilman Lamore do not sit on the interviews and we're provided the backup that we're provided, and that as a member of this board, we're supposed to make a determination based upon the evidence and proof that's been presented to us in that backup, the fact that there's a significant discrepancy between the 2 sources of information provided to us would lead a reasonable person to abstain in this particular setting, considering that I have nothing more to go on than the written word.
Thank you. Let me make a general comment, if I could, so that for those of you that don't know some of the personal things about me. The past 8-9 years or so, I've had to switch jobs a couple of times, and that wasn't my decision. Cuts were made, and business and so on, and business entities make decisions and decide that middle management's not necessary, or that they can get someone cheaper to do the job, or less expensive to do the job. As I've applied for in the past for different positions, one of the things that was always a discrepancy, I guess, it would be that my resume would not have every single thing that I did in that position, particular position. I may have listed job tasks that were relative to that position that I held, but I did a lot of other things as well in each job that I held in the past. And I can tell you, working in the town of Rotterdam, you have to be a real generalist in working in government, particularly in the town board, because you need to know a lot about a lot of different things, and most importantly, you need to be able to get along with people and rely upon those individuals that you'll have to work with on a daily basis. And why we include those people who run the departments, if you will, or have to work alongside the prospective employees that are prospects that are being interviewed, to then potentially be a prospective employee for the town, to make sure that there's compatibility and that the tasks that are being asked, that they have some relative confidence in answering the questions. And you can see that typically when you're interviewing someone, whether they have the confidence level. And it's been my personal experience that until you really get into the interview, or when you're applying and actually filling out the job application, you may have some different things that you write there because you were looking to answer the questions having to do with the job test at hand. And again, that may not come out in the application, and nor may it come out in the resume, but it will come out in the interview. And those particular set of skills can then be ascertained whether you have them or not from the people that are you rely upon as references, or frankly for those people that you're interviewing with, that they'll be able to pick you out whether what you're saying is true or not. So having said that, I'm going to support the appointment, and most importantly, I want you to know that the individual that we spoke about here, Ms. Knobloch, has been working for the town for approximately 30 years, and she knows her job inside and out, and I do not believe that she would make a recommendation for someone that she did not have the confidence that would provide the skill set that she has, because Ms. Knobloch will be retiring next year, and that is why we are hiring someone now to come in to learn the job, to get acclimated in the department, and so on, to make a smooth transition for everyone. So I know it's a long-winded answer, but I think that it was necessary to give you, and in particular, again, when it comes to hiring people for the town, one of the biggest, I guess I want to say, qualifications I look for is, do I believe that this person will be able to not just do the job, but will be able to get along with the people that are in that department. And again, I think that if there are some minor things that need to be learned as far as tasks or specifics, most of us can learn them if we have general knowledge.
Mr.
You want to say something else, Rick? Go ahead, please.
Yes, I do agree with a lot of what you said. I mean, I worked in payroll for 7 years, and the interview is important. That's why I don't understand in most of the cases, we're left out in the cold as far as knowing who is even trying to get the job. All we see is the final result of who you chose. As board members, we should be involved in getting something about each and every one of the candidates that are actually going for the job, so we can have some input in it, and we don't get that. And that's why we don't get to see the interview, so we don't know that. All we can go by is what we see on paper.
We up here, well, most of us have different backgrounds, and each of us may pick up on different things, such as reading the application versus the resume, and actually attending the interview. It would probably be much more functional if it was a collaborative thing rather than, yeah, the application doesn't match the resume and, well, we're going to appoint them anyways. I'm just saying.
Well, I would say that it was a collaborative effort between the department heads in that department and the human resources officer of the town, so.
They aren't the appointing officer, the five of us are.
Well, I guess it's a matter of having faith in the people and building the people that are appointed to run those departments versus micromanaging them. So again, Mr. Supervisor, I move for the question.
Before I do that, anyone else on the question on 204? 204, okay. Ms. Mark, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Abstain.
Mrs. Miller Herrera? Yes. Mr. Valano?
Abstain.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
2 abstain, 3 yes, pass.
Okay, I know Ms. Epting is here. Would you please stand up for us so we can acknowledge that you are.
Welcome.
And thank you for applying, and we wish you well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And you know where the water cooler is? It's on the second floor here across from my office, so feel free at any time. Okay, 20517, please.
Call for public hearing to be held on Wednesday, August 9th, 2017, at 7 p.m. at the John F. Curtin Government Center, Town Hall, 1100 Sunrise Boulevard, Rotterdam, New York, 12306, upon adoption of a proposed local law of the year 2017 for the following purpose: to amend Chapter 266, Section 46 of the Code of the Town of Rotterdam entitled Vehicles and Traffic, Schedule 6, Stop Intersections as follow. Install a stop sign at the intersection of Santa Lane at Mild Standish Road.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Member Valano. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Member Larimore. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Mark, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Valano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 20517 passes. Resolution 20617.
Declare the Town of Rotterdam as lead agency and authorize the town planner to prepare, file, publish, and distribute all documents necessary to comply with 6 NYCRR Part 617 and State Environmental Quality Review relative to the below referenced amendment to the Code of the Town of Rotterdam.
Mr. Supervisor,
Yes.
before you ask for a motion, 20617 and 20717 have to do with a business transaction that I'm involved with, so I'm going to recuse myself and step down off the dais.
Okay, go ahead, thank you.
I'll move.
Okay, motion by member Valano, is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by member Larmore. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo has recused himself. Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Valano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
So there's 4 yes and 1 recused.
Resolution 20617 passes. Resolution 20717.
Call for public hearing to be held on Wednesday, August 9th, 2017, at 7 p.m. at the John F. Kirby Government Center, Town Hall, 1100 Sunrise Boulevard, Rotterdam, New York, 12306, upon adoption of a proposed local law of the year 2017 for the following purpose: to allow for a change of zone request from Christo Real Estate Holdings, LLC, Contract ND, 351 Duanesburg Road, Schenectady, New York, 12306, for property located at 1006 Wallace Avenue, Rotterdam, New York, 12306, which is known as tax maps number 48.14-13-6, 48.19-13-7.1, and 48.19-13-17. The applicant is requesting a change of zone on the 0.65 acres of property from single-family residential R1 to general business B2 to enlarge the existing parking lot for Tops All-American Grill located adjacent to the property.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Okay, motion by member Valano, is there a second,
I'll
please?
second it.
Okay, second by member Larmore. Anyone on the question?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor. Based around the adjacent use as a diner and the obvious need for more parking there, as well as the surrounding business use, it is not an inappropriate spot zoning. Even though this is slightly within a residential area, it is adjacent to a general business area that consists of a McDonald's, daycares, taekwondo locations, gas stations, former CVS's, things along those lines. I don't feel the same way about this as I do about other places that we engage in spot zoning. I do believe that this is an appropriate use of this property in conjunction with the diner next door.
Okay, anyone else on the question? Okay, so it's a call for a public hearing for next month. Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo recused himself. Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Valano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
4 yes, 1 recused.
Okay, resolution 20717 passes. Mr. Christo, would you please come back? Please come back to the sandbox. Okay. 20817?
Call for public hearing to be held on Wednesday, August 9th, 2017 at 7 p.m. at the John F. Kirby Government Center, Town Hall, 1100 Sunrise Boulevard, Rotterdam, New York, 12306 for the following purpose: request by SI Group Incorporated to discuss the allowance to build a wash building on approximately 900 square feet at their industrial facility located in the Aquifer Overlay Zone at 1000 Main Street in Rotterdam Junction, New York, 12150.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by member Christo, is there a second, please?
I'll second it.
Okay, second by member Larmore. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, please call the roll.
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Valano?
My yes vote is based upon the understanding that the SI Group will in fact send a knowledgeable engineer to come and talk to us during the public hearing. Yes.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 20817 passes. Resolution 20917?
The Town Board of the Town of Rotterdam hereby authorizes the appropriation of parkland fees in an amount not to exceed $2,460 and hereby modifies the general fund budget by increasing estimated revenues A510 in the revenue account entitled Parkland Fees, A2001.200100, by $2,460, and increasing appropriations A960 in the subsidiary account entitled Parks Improvements, A7110.4153, by $2,460 to pay for work performed at Memorial Park.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
The motion by member Bolano, is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by member Christou. And just on the question, this is, there are stairs that lead from the west side of the park entrance on Bird Road down to where the basketball court is, which is going to be repaired very shortly, or replaced very shortly. And there's never been a railing there, to my knowledge, at least not since I can remember having been even a kid in that park. So, but we need a railing there for safety. So that is what this will be. These funds will be utilized for. So thank you for voting on this. So Ms. Marco, please call the roll.
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I wanted to say
Please go ahead.
something.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Rick, I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm going to vote yes on this, but I do want to state my own personal opinion that I think that the cost that they're charging for this is really expensive. I don't think it's a reasonable cost, but, you know, that's all I wanted to say.
We did get several, we did get bids for it. This was the lowest cost one. Yeah. So, okay, anyone else on 209? Okay, Ms. Marco, please call the roll.
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Valano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 20917 passes. Resolution 21017.
The town board of the town of Rotterdam hereby authorizes the appropriation of parkland fees in an amount not to exceed $1,698.69, and hereby modifies the general fund budget by increasing estimated revenues A510 and the revenue account entitled Parkland Fees by A2001.200100 by $1,698.69. And increasing appropriations A960 and the subsidiary account entitled Parks Improvements, A7110.4153 by $1,698.69 to purchase the required safety pieces for the play structure at Foxwood Park.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Okay, motion by member
I'll second.
Larmore. Okay, thank you. Second by member Bolano. Anyone in the question? Okay, this item is for another railing of sorts, and it blocks children that are utilizing the play structure at Foxwood from falling off the play structure. There was a railing there at some point in time, and I think someone made off with it. So we have to replace it, and unfortunately, when I say unfortunately, we have very limited places where we can get the materials that for replacement on these play structures. And luckily, this company is still in business. Some of these do come and go, unfortunately. So we're able to get this piece back, but it is expensive. It is not an inexpensive item to replace. So we have a motion by member Larmore, a second by member Volano. Anyone else on the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Valano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 21017 passes. Resolution 21117.
Declare the town of Rotterdam as lead agency and authorize John M. McDonald Engineering Services and/or the town planner to prepare, file, publish, and distribute all documents necessary to comply with 6 NYCRR Part 617 and state environmental quality review relative to the Lock Street Drainage Improvement Project.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Okay, motion by member Volano. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by member Larmore. So on the question, the board and I discussed this particular project, and we'll see, what we can accomplish here. But everyone here knows that with the storms of Irene or Lee, and when there are heavy downpours in Lock Street, Stratford Lane, parts of Rotterdam Junction, there's severe flooding that happens there. And while the water should be going somewhere, frankly, what happens is it kind of just cycles around. It goes from the road to the canal, and from the canal, when that is basically filled and things start backing up, the water just comes back up the road and doesn't really go anywhere. It creates kind of a small pond, or almost, and during the storms, it was just a river. And people, obviously, as you can most remember, were blocked and were flooded out of their homes in this south side of 5S. This is going to be a major project. If we are successful here with the grant process, what will happen is we are going to require some easements from property owners, but we will be putting in a drainage line that runs from Lock Street towards the east and west pond, as they're called, which is basically where Mabee Lane, or Stratford and Mabee Lane are. Between those two roads, there is a large body of water, which was the result of mining that went on many years ago, gravel, and this massive pond, or the east and west pond, when the causeway is there, when the water levels are lower, you can see some remnant of it, is where the water should be going. So we have to, it's going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars to correct this problem. So we have engaged or spoken with the DOT, New York State DOT. We will be reaching out to the railway and to National Grid and others, just because there are some other things we have to do to make sure that we get the authority to cross the lines there to alleviate this flooding problem. Now, will it solve a real major hurricane event of some kind? Probably not. I'm not a meteorologist or an engineer, nor do I think that I could ever be one. Frankly, it's not my thing. And I don't like heights either, but anyway, that's another story. So anyway, what we're hoping is that we can get funding for this project, and at least when we have major storm events like multiple days of rain and so on, that we're able to get this get some relief for these folks down in this part of our community. And so I appreciate the board's support for these next couple of resolutions. Anyone else on 211? Which also has to do with 212. Okay, Ms. Mark, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Valano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 211-17 passes. Resolution 212-17.
Authorize the supervisor to enter into an agreement with John M. McDonald Engineering Services located at 7 Church Street, Schenectady, New York, 12305, for professional engineering services and grant administration in connection with the drainage project to correct the current Lock Street flooding in Rotterdam Junction in an amount not to exceed $9,000.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by member Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by member Valano. And just on the question, the grant opportunities come out, and we literally have, days of notice and weeks to, a couple of months to really get the application in. So we are, we're under a timeline. The good story, though, is this, is that in the past, and I believe it was under the prior administration, that had a major study done of that area by the Donald engineering firm a few years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago. And so they're going to utilize that documentation that they have along with the application process here to hopefully get us some opportunity to get this project completed. So anyone else on the question on 212? Okay, Ms. Mark, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Valano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 212-17 passes. Resolution 213-17.
Authorize the supervisor to enter into an agreement with John M. McDonald Engineering Services located at 7 South Church Street, Schenectady, New York, 12305, for Vista Square Apartments, professional engineering services, Town of Rotterdam, Curry Road, pump station improvements, in an amount not to exceed $44,100, and to authorize the supervisor to enter into a license agreement with Vista Square and Metroplex.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by member Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by member Larmore. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Mark, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera? Yes. Mr. Valano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, Resolution 213-17 passes. Resolution 214-17.
Authorize the supervisor to enter into a contract with the Rotterdam Police Chiefs Association for the years 2017 through December 31st, 2021.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Okay, motion by member Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by member Miller Herrera. On the question?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor. You know, between the police chiefs and the PVA contract in this town, you know, we spend more than we collect in our annual real property tax collection. We collect about 6.8 million a year, and we spend approximately $7.25 million just on 101 Princetown Road and the employees housed within it. The thing is, you know, Rotterdam has a certain reputation that it apparently has to maintain. And the reputation that the town has to maintain is that we will pay the most for our police. And that no amount of money is enough. And that, you know, we're just going to open the purse strings and come on in. And it should be noted that, you know, this year, and I'm not going to go back and rediscuss the PVA contract, I've already had a chance to do that, but the town of Rotterdam has a chief, a deputy chief, and approximately 40 officers that work under the chief and deputy chief. In the city of Albany, just for comparison purposes, there's a chief, a deputy, and 360 officers. So they have 9 times as many sworn officers. That doesn't include staffing. That's just people with arrest power. The chief of the city of Albany is budgeted to get paid less than $120,000. And we are going to increase our pay to $141,000. So for, you know, supervising 1/9 of the employees, apparently you get $22,000 more. That's a lot of money. So then, you know, I look at other, you know, cities that have crime and larger police forces, like, I don't know, Troy. The police chief in Troy gets paid $113,000 a year, approximately. Not 120s, not 130s, certainly not 140s, 113. The story is, you know, the same for the deputy chiefs. And this is no reflection of the quality of the services that we receive. I have made it absolutely crystal clear. I am proud of all of our employees that put on a badge and protect the citizens of the town of Rotterdam, which has absolutely nothing to do with what we pay them. For the deputy chief, the story is exactly the same. Rotterdam's the highest. You know, 124.6 in comparison to Albany, 113, and Troy, 107. The only one that has actually come up and has started paying more, and I don't know if it's because, you know, they felt like they were getting paid a lot less than Rotterdam, but the city of Schenectady has finally bumped up substantially. They had over a 7% increase for both the chief and deputy chief, just to come on par with our department. Once again, this is no reflection of the quality of the service. I do believe that we are getting a fair shake and that they work very hard every hour that they serve our town.
Joe, how many employees do they have?
Albany has 360.
Oh,
Schenectady has 160. 160 for Schenectady, 360 for Albany. Yeah, so more than 4 times as much. You know, it's not on scale. You know, and based upon that, I simply can't vote yes.
Thank you. Anyone else on the question? I just will say this, I really don't want to belabor your statistics and some of the numbers that you have. We can do that at another time. More importantly, every department is set up differently. Some of these municipalities have precincts. There are other reasons why they have the administrative, I guess I want to say functions differently, and more importantly, as far as numbers of employees, We have in the big scheme of things, for a community our size, with the size that we are from perspective of I'll say, property, one in town to the other. I'm also,
You're not comparing us against Albany though, right? I mean,
I didn't say that.
Okay,
I didn't
all
say
right.
that. I'm talking about us. I'm not talking about Albany. I'm talking about us.
okay.
Rotterdam. And knowing that, I want to be careful in what I say, because I'm very, I love the city of Schenectady, and we have a lot to be thankful for with all the good things I think that are happening in the city, particularly in the past handful of years. But we have more to do. And Rotterdam, we're using technology. We're going to be utilizing more technology in the future to do what we can to help not just solve crimes, but more importantly, provide our officers with the tools that they need to do their job in a very methodical and efficient way. And I think over time, if there are ways to do other things that may compress costs, we'll probably keep looking at those other opportunities. But at this point in time, I do believe that we have the right number of officers. I do believe that we have the right administration in place, and we worked very hard on this contract. I can just say this much. I want to thank the Chief of Police, Jim Hamilton, who will be retiring soon as well. For those of you that may or may not know that, and our Deputy Chief, Bill Manicus, as well as all the uniformed and the really, in the big scheme of things, the handful of people that we have that are civilian, do, I think, a phenomenal job for the town, and our judges, etc. So it's a much bigger operation than we can just sit here and talk about dollars and cents. And so I don't want to have the public have this perception that we did not work hard on this contract. There were several areas where the chief and deputy chief, as the members of this particular bargaining unit, made concessions, and there were concessions that, for those who want to go into detail with them, we can talk about that at some other time. But we did get concessions in this contract from the prior contract, so I feel very good about it. I think that it also provides, again, as I said, with the PBA contract, along with the civil service employees contract, I think a tremendous amount of stability for our workforce. And as we move forward, and we want to keep the numbers of employees at a relative number, and what I mean by that is to try to keep it as flat as possible, our full-time equivalents as flat as possible, so that we're not burdening the budget or the taxpayers into the future. We'll be able to do that. I think that this contract, as well as the other contracts that we were able to negotiate in the year past and plus, will provide us. So I'm obviously supportive.
The thing is, just like, and not to go back to the PBA, because that's not in front of us, but the lieutenants in Albany get paid $78,000 a year. What do our lieutenants get paid?
96 or more.
Yeah.
It's just, the numbers,
17. They have 17
underneath them
lieutenants.
and everything else.
I'm glad you asked. That's a great question.
Drawing
Our
the
sergeants get paid what? Because their sergeants get paid $72,000 and they have 39 of them.
81.
Okay. I think we should.
I mean, we're not on par. Across the board, it's more money.
Okay. Anyone else on the question?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor.
Go ahead.
The one point that can't be argued is the fact that if all these bigger cities, which have a lot more crime and have 4, 5 to 10 times as many employees, they are either making the same as someone who has 4 times less employees, or they're getting less money. There's a major problem there. You shouldn't be getting paid when you have, that much more when you have that much less employees under you. There's no argument on that. You can't argue that point.
Anyone else this evening?
I'd like to
Go ahead, please.
Just briefly,
After reviewing the agreement, I don't think we would do better at an arbitration if we were to not come to an agreement with the chief and deputy chief. The givebacks that we've gotten out of this contract, I think, show significant progress in trying to contain our costs. So I will be voting yes.
Okay, anyone else? Before we move on to the vote. Okay, Ms. Mark, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
No.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Valano?
You can't be 20% higher than bigger municipalities and say yes. So absolutely not, no.
Mr. Thomason?
Yes.
3 yes, 2 no.
Okay, resolution 214-17 passes. Okay, thank you to the chief and deputy chief for their work on behalf of the people of the town of Rotterdam. 215-17, please.
Authorize the supervisor to enter into a contract with Empire Paving of Schenectady, Inc., 1982 Duanesburg Road, Duanesburg, New York, 12056, in an amount not to exceed $446,517.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion by Member Valano, and a second by Member Larmore. On the question, Larry, do you want to say anything? No? Okay, I'll say it for you. I'll say it for you then. So, we utilized the CHIPS money that we receive on an annual basis in this calculation of $400 and some thousand of roads to be paved. We utilized $100,000 that we put in this budget for paving, as well as other monies that you had been able to accumulate or find in your budget to come up with a much larger spend than we had anticipated. And when I say spend, it's really on the roads that are the most needed to be paved. Now, in speaking with Larry earlier and among the board members, and also over the past year and a half here, there are many other roads that need to be paved. We just don't have the funds to do it. We have about another $400,000 or so worth of probably roads that are close.
That we scoped on.
That you scoped, that we priced out. That you priced out.
Right.
So, priced out. So into the next year's budget, hopefully we can keep the same level, if not more, for next year to get more of our roads paved. But most importantly, I think that if you look at what we're doing this year, we are getting a lot of roads paved for the money that we're spending. We're lucky that the price of gas has been pretty fair. It has been kind of lower on the lower side, if you will, and so that's helping us as well. So Larry and his employees also went back out and regraded all the roads again. We'll be updating our information there so that next year we can again go back out again and regrade the roads as we do on an annual basis, as he does with his employees on an annual basis, and we'll come up with another list next year. But know that if you think your road needs to be paved, we know it. We do know it, and we are working on it. And hopefully, again, into the new year, we can get some other money in the budget for 2018 to address those. And obviously, if the price of gasoline and other materials drops, we'll be able to do a lot more next year. So we cross our fingers on that. I hear OPEC is, I read. So just keep crossing our fingers. Maybe we'll get the price lower on gas under $2 a gallon again, which would be phenomenal. So thank you, Larry. And so anyone else on the question?
Yes, Mr.
Go ahead.
Supervisor. I would just like to say that I am so thankful. This is great that we finally put money in the budget for paving. We haven't had it in the paving budget for at least the 4 years I've been in, and years before that. So it's so great. It's something that the town really needs, and the people in the town have really been talking about and asking for it. So I think it's a great thing.
I'm thankful to see the 100,000 and they're going to our roads too. People don't realize how small of an area $100,000 actually gets you. If anybody's familiar with Paul Avenue, that's one of the roads that actually is coming up on our agreement.
It's my street.
Paul Ave, you know what, I didn't even think about that. It
Is that
is.
why you brought it up? But I don't think he's doing my end of the road.
No.
See? I'm just letting you know that.
My road hasn't gotten done either, but that's not the
So
point.
let's be
They're gonna
clear.
stop.
But, you know,
That's not gonna stop.
Paul costs over $30,000 just to do a section of Paul Avenue.
That's correct.
You know, when Paul Avenue takes up 1/10 of our paving budget for the entire year, including all of our state grant money, it shows you how, difficult it is to put together an appropriate paving plan. There simply isn't enough money. If we had $1 million a year as opposed to the $440,000, it probably still wouldn't be enough. But we have over 200 miles of roads in this town that Superintendent Lamora is responsible for handling. We have a lot of state roads, we have a lot of county roads, but he's personally responsible for addressing 200 of those miles. And there simply isn't enough money to do that. He really is doing the best that he can. And, budgeting even another 100,000 on top of the 100,000 that was budgeted last year would help a lot. It would allow us to get 3 more roads like Paul done. Once again, is it the whole town? No, but everything helps. So maybe we'll be able to find some room for that.
So the section of Paul Avenue that you're working on is where we had the water main break. We're gonna pave that first section, right? Of the road?
Not this year.
No, but that's,
But that was priced in.
that was priced in,
scope
right?
that we-
But we already paved that area. Do we have to resurface that again, or are we good there for now?
No, we're good.
We're good there, okay. 'Cause it seemed like it went down a little bit, but you can look at that. But Paul Avenue and a lot of the other, I'm gonna say, older roads in Rotterdam.
Well, we're
that's
doing the
fair,
whole section.
let me say this, we're doing roads in the junction and some other areas, I think.
Rotterdam Junction,
Yeah.
doing
I mean, that road, it was priced, but it's not gonna be done this year. But with Paul Avenue or some of the other, older roads, the base of those roads are actually very, very good. And that's why they've held up as long as they have. But Paul Avenue, parts of even the area where we have some flooding matters, like Swampscott Lynn and some of these other areas in town, they need attention. So, and again, when we go into, though that's just the pricing list that you're looking at, actually. But, let's play along.
Yeah, there's an $800,000 pricing list.
Right.
But we only have 400 or something, so
Right.
there's a separate list.
There's a separate list with the actual roads that we're
For the
paving.
roads that we're doing.
Okay, so it's not the one that's marked 2017 paving program.
You have, so let me tell you where we are. So it's the amendment to spend highway funds there. So we can kind of talk through it quickly here.
Right. You needed to spend your town highway fund.
Oh, there's a
You see
separate
it there?
attachment.
Yeah, you see it
Yes.
there? I was just playing along with you.
Okay, well, there is something that was marked 2017 paving program. I thought that's what we were paving.
So well, we've got a more accurate number, but so it's and again, this may not be the entire length of the road. It may be a section of these roads. So understand that as well. But Alexander Drive, Riverview Drive, Walner Lane, Stacy Lane, Mohawk Drive, Sharon Drive, Elm Street, Willow Street, Floral. So again, we're the first several were in the junction. But now Elm Street, Willow, Floral, those are here off of Gilman Avenue. Melrose, Ford Street, sections which are off Princeton Road. Bruno Street here on off Broadway. Continental Road, which you're familiar with in the Colonial Manor, thank you, that's where I was going. I knew it was a County Line Road, Katy Avenue, Catherine Street, Bernice, Cardiff, on the other side of town, the eastern part of town, Parker Street, Woodlawn Drive, again, Consulas Avenue, Wedgewood Heights, and Isabella Street, which is also in the junction, is located on this list. So that's the actual list. But we did price a lot more roads. Paul Avenue does need it. But again, thankfully, the base of that road is really in great shape, and hopefully we'll be able to top it next year. So we have a motion by Member Valano, second by Member Larmore. Can we call for the vote? No one wants? Okay, let's go for the vote. Ms. Marco, please.
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Valano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasoni?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, 215-17 passes. Resolution 216-17.
Town Board of the Town of Rotterdam hereby determines that purchase of the former Bobby's Auto 0.52 acre property located at 1220 Main Street, Rotterdam Junction, 12150, necessary to protect water quality in the Great Flats Aquifer as a Type 2 action in accordance with 6 NYCRR Section 617.5C19.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Member Christou. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Member Valano. On that question, this resolution and the following resolution have to do with the potential of purchasing this property in order to protect our wellheads in Water District 3, which serves Rotterdam Junction. And we're hopeful that we're going to be successful with this grant. Again, same thing. We have a tight timetable to get this application in at the end of this month. So I appreciate everyone's attention to this. I think it's a great, hopefully we'll be successful. So, Ms. Marco, anyone else on the question? I'm sorry.
Yes, Mr.
Go ahead.
Supervisor. We really do need to protect our water areas. The only question or problem I have at all is we do know that there's gas tanks still in the ground, and we really need to have conservation people or whatever come in and see what kind of cost that's going to be for us. Because if we take that over that property, we're going to be stuck with that cost. So it is something that needs to be done, but we need to coordinate that with the price that we pay for what it's going to cost us to have those removed. So that the expense we pay for the property should be less, because we're going to have to pay for that cost. And that the owner who wants to sell should have that reminded to him. That's all.
Well, the environmental review, if you will, of this property will happen, as part of the process, so we'll get there. So we have a motion by Member Christou, a second by Member Valano. Anyone else in the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Valano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasoni?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, Resolution 216-17 passes. Resolution 217-17.
Appoint the town supervisor, Stephen A. Thomasone, as the authorized representative of the town of Rotterdam in all matters related to state assistance under 970-R of the General Municipal Law in regards to the 2017 Round 13 CFA Water Quality Improvement Grant Program for property acquisition of 1220 Main Street in Rotterdam Junction, and authorize the supervisor to execute any and all grant application material.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Member Christou.
I'll second.
By Member Longmore. Anyone in the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Valano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasone?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, Resolution 217-17 passes. Resolution 218-17.
A resolution authorizing an agreement between the town board and the highway superintendent to establish a paving plan for 2017 and allow payment for the town of Rotterdam road paving 2017 fiscal year in an amount not to exceed $446,517.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by Member Christou, a second, please.
I'll second.
Second by Member Longmore. Anyone in the question? Okay, Ms. Marco, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Valano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasone?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, Resolution 218-17 passes. Resolution 219-17.
Accept town's clerk.
Just
I'm
one
sorry,
thing,
go ahead.
yeah, in regards to the last one, do we actually have to sign the order? Is it going to be
Yeah.
presented at the end of the meeting for us to handle?
Yeah, we have the width of the roadways? Okay, so there's one piece missing, there's the width of the roadways, which we'll have.
Well, I have a signed contract from Schenectady County,
Yep.
Joe Ryan, accepting,
Which you have?
discussed what he wanted on that contract.
Okay, so I mean, if the board wants to sign the agreement ahead of time, knowing that we'll have to confer on the widths, to just include them with the contract. What is it? Okay, we can make a hand correction on the misspelling of one name. Okay, so we'll have to make some, we'll have to make, I guess there's a few errors there, but we'll figure it out. It's nothing that can't be corrected, Larry, what you have in front of you, apparently, from the county.
Can we,
Well, I wouldn't want to change the contract or something.
No, we're not changing contract. I think that Samantha's name is misspelled.
It's an agreement.
And there's a couple things like that in there that we just have to hand correct. I think we'd be okay. Helderberg Avenue is misspelled. So I'm just, okay, it's just a couple misspellings on the road names in there. We'll fix that and we'll sign it.
Okay, well, if it's here,
Is that
yeah.
agreeable?
Yeah, I mean, if it's here,
Is that
we'll
agreeable?
sign it, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have to
absolutely.
initial those pages that have those errors after we make the corrections, okay? That's all. It'll just be a lot of initialing and correcting. Or we can sign a clean copy tomorrow. Let's sign a clean copy tomorrow, if that's okay with you guys. We'll get somebody to come around and get signatures, is that all right?
Sure.
Is that okay with you, Rick? Okay, with everybody else? Okay.
Yep.
All right, we'll do that, and maybe it'll be me driving around, I'll call you. So, we passed 2/18/17, so now we're on to 2/19/17, Ms. Markle?
Accept town clerk's report for the month of June 2017.
I move.
Okay, motion by member Christou, is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by member Larmore. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Markle, call the roll, please.
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Valano?
Yes.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
5 yes.
Okay, resolution 2/19/17 passes. Resolution 2/2017.
Authorize budget transfers by the town comptroller to various accounts for 2017.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll move.
Motion by member Christou, is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, second by member Miller Herrera. Anyone on the question? Okay, Ms. Markle, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Christo?
Yes.
Mr. Larmore?
I'm abstaining.
Mrs. Miller Herrera?
Yes.
Mr. Valano?
Abstain.
Mr. Thomasson?
Yes.
2 abstain, 3 yes.
Okay, resolution 2/2017 passes. Thank you. So if you look at the agreement that's in there for 2/18, folks, there, you can see that there are some misspellings in there that need to be corrected. So we'll get that, I'll get that out to you. This is contract coming from, the county and from our highway department to the county, but forgive me. So we'll make those corrections, fix that up, and get it back out. Like I said, I'll be around tomorrow. I will call you all ahead of time, and hopefully we can get that accomplished tomorrow.
How are we doing on the rooms contract?
It's signed, done. Did I not tell you that last meeting?
No.
My sincere apologies. We do have a lot going on in town, don't we, Dean? So that was I apologize if I didn't tell you that. My intention was to tell you that at the last meeting. We did sign the contract, it's done.
Can I be provided with a copy of it?
Absolutely, absolutely. I apologize. What did I do? I just completely, we had such a good time signing that contract. I apologize, Mr. Blunt. Sorry about that. But I will get you copies. It was in June that we signed that contract. That's my oversight. I apologize for that, but we are done. What else have I done that I forgot to tell you? I don't think there's anything else. I'm trying to remember. It is a whirlwind sometimes in town government. We think that they're having fun on the national level. To a town board meeting in Rotterdam. No, I'm just kidding. So, anyone under committee reports, miscellaneous? I just want to let you know that as far as the basketball courts, because I've had several calls on the basketball courts. Two things really overarching why they're not yet completed is that the vendor that is a successful bidder had other projects, and we're just saying with the town, when we have projects that we haven't been able to complete in the parks and projects we haven't been able to complete on the roads and drainage and so on because of all the rain. The rain has actually kept us out and kept them from here catching up on their projects. Plus, they were waiting on a particular milling machine that apparently became available yesterday for them to complete the projects at the basketball courts. So as soon as they're in, they anticipate that they'll be here this week to start the basketball courts. So again, the 3 basketball courts, Memorial, Carmen, or Leonard C. White Park, and then Eunice Esposito Park, they will all be redone. The tennis courts were completed and resurfaced, and new nets put up, and they look phenomenal. If you haven't seen them at the Esposito Park or Juraca Park, they came out great. They came out really, really well. Anyone else have anything? Because I know
I
that,
don't know if
Go ahead.
it has to do, it's just miscellaneous, I don't know, it just be, people might want to know.
Sure.
I think they should check to be positive, but I believe on Friday evening from like 5 to whatever,
Yeah.
across from Proctor's, they're having another
Oh, the Blues
free
Traveler,
free
yeah.
concert, Blues
County,
Travelers.
yeah.
Are gonna be like a summer concert, and it's free for families, and they're gonna have things for the families.
Closing down State Street again.
So it'll be real nice. It's a nice time.
Yeah, thanks for
Friday
bringing,
night.
thanks for bringing that up, and I'll mention one more thing, I promise, and that'll be it. A couple of weeks ago, well, a couple of weeks ago, it was July 4th, no, 3rd. When was the concert. And that was what I want to mention first. So July 3rd, we were out in the Junction at the Maybe Farm, and for the Albany Symphony. It was a great show. I know Roz was there. There were a lot of
With my
seniors there.
motorcoach.
With your motorcoach. And I saw a lot of people out there. Andrew was there.
I was there.
You were there, that's right.
It was very nice.
With your lovely children and your handsome husband. And Kate was there with her handsome husband and son. And a lot of other people were there. And if I forget, and if I saw you there, I'm sorry, but right now. But it was great. I think that they anticipated less people than they got.
Absolutely.
And but I'll tell you this, they did a great job with what we had going on there. I thought it was wonderful. The fireworks also were fantastic. So hopefully we'll repeat that. The county will help us repeat that next year. And then on the 4th of Independence Day, John Woodward, myself, and Supreme Court Justice Mark Powers, who actually did all the work, along with Kara Jasinski, the Deputy County Clerk, and employees from Homeland Security / the Immigration and Naturalization Services, along with town officials like Mr. Christou and Ms. Marco and others were there. Ms. Martin was there, and there were a lot of other elected officials, or I guess I would say county officials there too. And it was wonderful. They gave over 20 new citizens were sworn in on July 4th at Viaport at the mall. It was a really nice event. Families, it was just heartwarming, honestly. It was great. So I want to thank everybody for that. The mall was phenomenal in what they did for us. Provides for location, and then Dunkin' Donuts, and also Evan with this small place he's got called Tops, donated some refreshments for the folks that were there. So it was a really great event, and thank you also for doing this. It was really nice, and we'll be doing that again in the near future. So thanks again to the Supreme Court Justice Mark Powers for his time as well.
Mr. Supervisor, I make a
You wanna
motion
adjourn,
to
don't you?
adjourn. I
You wanna
do.
adjourn, don't you?
My counterpart here is
I know
feed your
you,
child.
Thank you, Ms. Miller, for your time. Okay, we have a motion by Member Christie to adjourn. Anyone else to adjourn?
I'll second it.
Member Longmore to adjourn. Anyone else in the question to adjourn? Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you, everyone. The meeting is adjourned. Appreciate your time.